During these summer months, there will be many fruit pickers up and down the country, picking fruits off the trees and preparing them to be taken to be sold in markets and supermarkets up and down the countries. Some of those fruits may be apples, pears, plums, or peaches. As we know, some fruits are slightly higher grade. They may have the perfect shape, the perfect colour, the perfect smell, and the perfect taste. And there are some fruits which are slightly lower grade. They may not have the perfect shape, the perfect colour, the perfect smell, or the perfect taste, and they may be sold at a cheaper price. Today, Jesus compares the prophets to a tree that either produces good fruit or bad fruit. A good prophet, a good tree will always produce good fruits, and a bad prophet, a bad tree, may produce bad fruits, or maybe will not produce any fruit at all. So what are these fruits, and how do we recognise them? Well, in St. Paul's letter to the Galatians, he tells us what these fruits look like: love, joy, peace, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. A genuine prophet will always produce the message that they preach, will always produce these fruits. A prophet that isn't genuine will struggle to produce these fruits with the message they preach. And this could be for three reasons. Maybe the message that they preach isn't really rooted in the will of God. Maybe it isn't really rooted in the truth. And maybe it's not really rooted in the person of Jesus Christ. So to be a good prophet, the message we preach, to produce the fruits we've just heard about through St. Paul, our message must always be rooted in God's will. We must always the prophet must always seek to discern truth, and the prophet must always be close to Jesus Christ, who who prophets come to through prayer. Like the prophets, we too are called to be the messengers of God, to spread his love and his message throughout the world. But are we like the good tree that produces good fruit, or are we like the tree that fails to produce good fruit? The way that we can tell, actually, are we producing God's message? Are we preaching God's message? Is by measuring ourselves against the fruits that they're supposed to produce. And if we find that we're struggling to produce these fruits, maybe like the prophets, the bad prophets, or the bad tree, maybe it's because we're not ourselves rooted in the will of God. We're not rooted in the truth, and we're not rooted in the person of Jesus Christ. So today gives us that opportunity that as God's messengers, that actually to commit ourselves to the will of God, to commit ourselves to discerning the truth, and always discerning the truth of our faith, so we can communicate them to others, and actually to commit ourselves deeper in prayer, so that we're not trying to preach our own message, but always the message of God. So there's many people at this time up and down the country enjoying the fruits of the good tree. Let's pray that we too may become good trees, so that the message that we produce, that God's people may always recognise them and enjoy the fruits that they produce.